Hello, and welcome to our 2023-2024 season for Dance Team. We're so excited that you're interested in our teams and excited to give you more information as to what our teams entail. But first, just to start off with a few things, we want to make sure that you know our mission. Our mission is to not just make great dancers, it's to make great kids. And so everything we do is based around that philosophy of really just making kids great, great dancers, great kids, and just great overall. Dance is so great for teaching those life lessons that they need later on, whether they go into dance, become doctors, attorneys, electricians, whatever it is. We strive to teach them those skills of hard work, dedication, teamwork, and ability to think quickly on your feet. So that's what we're hoping for and striving for each year with our dance team members. We also make sure that we have very intentional goals and attributes set for our teams, as well as for our teachers and coaches. One thing we strive all the time for is excellence and integrity in all of our programs. We want you to feel comfortable with what your kids are dancing and putting on stage, comfortable that you drop them off at the studio and leave knowing that they are being cared for as if they are our own in their second home. We want to make sure that they also have a sense of community together and that they feel that they are serving their community better through what they're doing at dance or at school. And we want to build them these lifelong relationships that they gain from one another through this wonderful art of dance. So some of the traits that we have for many of our team members are listed here: commitment to the team and to themselves and their dance, forgiveness for teammates who make a mistake, forgiveness for themselves when they make a mistake, honesty, that we are true to ourselves, a sense of humility, patience, as well as respect. There's also great science behind the benefits of dance. Not that it's just going to give them physical fitness and make them healthy and strong. We know that, but that they were going to actually see academic performance improvement through dance. And any of our team members who are currently here, you can talk to their parents and ask them, because it's usually one of the number one questions I get asked is, with all these classes, are their grades going to go down? And I said, it's actually contrary to that. You're going to see their grades go up because they become more committed to focused schoolwork and to improving one part of their life is improving and rising up the other part of their lives. The other thing we see is mental well-being and social well-being. We see our kids who maybe are shy or a little more introvert start coming out of their shells. We see those that are already extroverted, learning how to work better with others. We see those that are maybe struggling in certain aspects of their lives, feeling safe and feeling just a sense of happiness when they're at dance and just a burden off their shoulders. So some of the direct information in regards to teams is, what can we see in terms of class requirements? Now, all of this is covered in great detail in our handbook, but you'll notice that the team requirements change as your dancer becomes older. So it starts minimal with our tiny and mini teams with 2 classes a week plus rehearsal, all the way up to our teen and senior teams at 5 classes a week plus their teams. These classes do overlap. So you will notice that if your child is doing multiple teams, that you're going to see an overlap in classes. The total just needs to be 5. We've also lowered some of the standard or types of classes that they have to take. For example, if your child is on junior jazz team, last year it was required they take 1 jazz class, 1 ballet class, and 1 acrobatics class. This year, seeing what we saw last year and trying to make improvements, we've said, okay, they need to take a jazz class, but we're going to let these other classes be your classes of choice. And you'll see that spelled out in greater detail in the exact handbook as to what those classes are. But that is definitely a big change for this year. So the other items that they need are specific skills. So each team has a skills list, and those skills are required to be on the team. And it varies again by team and by genre of dance. And they are very specific to each level of team, each style of team as well. So here's a quick look and quick Snapchat of what our teams look like. This one will show you that our teams start September 5th. They run technically through nationals, which is the end of June, beginning of July. And there's a break that happens after recital, although we do have a one-day rehearsal that will occur based on everyone's schedule for those that before nationals practice. So you will see that just like a normal school schedule to some extent. We do 4 regional, which means local competitions. We have our 1 national competition. And this is currently our competition schedule and dates. Now, this is tentative. They could change these, but we are pretty certain that this is what they're going to keep for this upcoming year. We've worked with all the high schools. So if your child is in high school or middle school and there's conflicts, we've sent this out to every high school, every middle school that we are a part of. We've gotten feedback from those schools. And we've also, if we've noticed that maybe a competition has a conflict with one school or for one dancer, we've reached out to that program already to ensure that you're not going to have any issues with that particular competition or with your school schedules. So it's been a lot of work. Miss Heather put this in and has been working on this for quite a while to make sure that we can offer everyone a program that's going to work for them. You'll notice our first competition will start a little earlier this year in February, and we basically have 1 per month. So they kind of run every 3 to 4 weeks. The other question I get asked all the time is about the costs. So these are approximate costs. They do vary per team. We do say that our costumes run about $115. They could run a little less. They could run a little more. You're not going to see it up in the 160s or 170s. I can guarantee you that. But they could run 120, 122. They could run down to 80, 85. So it just varies again on the team and the costume that we're able to get them to match what we're looking for this season. As they'll be wearing them quite a few times, we want them to have something that's durable, lasts through the year, and that they feel confident and good in. Team fees are $50 per team per month. Those fees run September through June. Then you have your monthly class fees, and this is particular for new team members. If you are someone who is new to team, you do need to do an initial purchase of your team makeup, sweatpants, and team jackets. So that will come only once unless your child grows. There's a lot of exchanging and passing on that happens within teams as well, but that is an initial cost that you want to set up for. In addition to those, we will have 1 convention at Kick It Up. We're looking to have that in October or November. We are unsure of the cost, but we are working on that and working on figuring out what will work best with our schedule and with masterclass teachers that we are bringing in. There will be 1 optional convention with ADE, Artistic Dance Exchange. This is for teens and seniors only. That is $185 per day. And Tiny Team will not do either of these conventions. So the first convention that's at Kick It Up will be for mini, junior, teen, and seniors, and ADE will be for teen and seniors only. The competition average cost, they have not listed costs for this year, so we are giving you the average from last year, again, just so you can budget and have an idea what you're looking at. A group routine was $72 per competition. Duo trio was $85 per person per competition, and a solo was $150 per competition. This is spelled out in much greater detail in the handbook, but again, this is just a quick snapshot as to what you're looking at. So based off of our teams, we have what we call a team menu. We have this listed for each and every team. And this really goes over the specifics, exactly what you need to be on a team and what we're looking for. So it will show you the classes, the style, and the number of weekly classes you need, your tuition costs, what you can do for what we call extra fun. So private lessons, master classes, workshops, summer camps, intensives, and auditions for the team. So at auditions, what can you expect? Well, things to expect are it's going to be like a regular class. You're going to have center work across the floor. You're going to learn a combination. You'll do this in groups. You're going to be wearing clothes that you would normally wear to class with matching shoes for that style, hair pulled off the face, and a bottle of water. It's your teachers, so it'll be very familiar faces, and we want the audition to feel like it's homey, but also to feel like it's a challenge for your dancer. The ways to have a great audition are to get a good night's sleep, to make sure you're keeping up your classes, technique, and stretch, and to have a good meal about an hour before you come so your energy is at top peak performance. The other thing we're really looking for is great attitudes. So we want to make sure your dancer's coming in and they're excited to be on team. And no matter how they do or think they do, that they leave with a smile on their face. That is our goal, and that's how we want them to feel, not just for the audition, but for the whole season. Once we do that, about 2 weeks later, you're going to find out their placement. We spend many, many days working on the team placements, how they're going to look, how we're going to place dancers on teams, and what those teams will look like. They can be small team, which is 9 dancers to 4 dancers, or large team, which is 10 to 20 dancers. And that's what we will be looking at based on the number of people that audition. So what are some of the most commonly asked questions we get for competition teams? One is, what additional items does my dancer need? And that's just the costume, their shoes, tights, the makeup, sweatpants, and jacket we talked about earlier. There's really nothing in addition to that. Do we ever have extra rehearsals called just have extra rehearsals or out of the blue? Rarely. I won't say it doesn't ever happen. We've had dancers that have broken their foot, or who have had suddenly an injury or become ill suddenly, then we may call an additional rehearsal. But typically the answer is no. Their regular rehearsal day and time is the day and time that we normally meet at. When will we know the competition schedules? That's always iffy. We hope to receive them 2 weeks in advance. Typically it's a week before. Nationals, we should be getting 3 to 4 weeks prior to the competition. And I do know that they're making changes next year to get those schedules out sooner based on everyone's feedback this year. How are the competitions scored? Again, that varies by competition. Some have platinum, double platinum, diamond, high gold, gold. They do give you a scoring sheet that comes in every schedule or packet that we have. We also try to place that online and have that available to you for reference so that you kind of understand the scores that your team, soloist, or duo trio received. A typical competition day means that you're arriving about 2 hours before your scheduled time. So let's say your scheduled time is a Saturday at 1 o'clock. We're going to ask that you arrive to the venue at 11 a.m. We're then going to rehearse your team, get them warmed up, get them stretched, and then we'll put them on stage. Competitions can run early. They can run 30 minutes to an hour in advance. They can also run late. So it just, again, varies on the time frame. Typically, I tell people to budget 4 to 5 hours for their competition day and time. The one thing you want to remember is you're not there the whole weekend. So just because a competition says it starts on Friday and ends on Sunday does not mean you spend your entire day there. You are there when it is your time block to perform. And we do big and little sisters and maybe brothers this year. And so it's always fun to go and watch your big or little brother or sister compete as well, and to support them too. Are competitions like what we see on TV? The answer is absolutely not. They are very different than what you see on TV. It's very staged for TV, but there's a lot of hustle and bustle in the back rooms with other dancers and getting changed and people rehearsing. And it's a lot of high energy and a ton of fun. So those are things that you kind of do see on TV. Usually not, at least not from us. There's not a lot of yelling or grumpiness. We do see it from some people, though, unfortunately. But typically, most of the time, the studios are pretty nice. The other owners or teachers are also really nice. And people are there to have fun and to have a good time, knowing that when they score, the score is just based on their own score. So even though we're going up against other teams, it's based on how you perform. And you're not being compared to the other teams. It's your own technical and performance merit. When they do overalls at the end, that's when you see that other teams coming up, or even our teams are coming up, and we make a high score, but that score is simply based on us. So I hope that gives you a greater understanding of teams, especially if you couldn't make the team meeting, that you really understand what our teams, our philosophy, where we're coming from, and what's expected of a team member is all about. If you'd like to sign up, there's QR codes to sign up. There's also the QR code on the side over here to get the dance team handbook, so you can read in greater detail about teams. If you have any questions, feel free to send us an email, text message, or give us a call. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks so much.